So you're speaking more Spanish now, but sometimes you get some strange looks. Well, that's okay. I still get strange looks all the time, and I guess you just get used to it. All right, speaking of used to it, let's talk about the first one that I want to talk about. That's how to say I used to. So it's different from to get used to something. It's I used to do something, right? So I used to smoke, for example, but now I don't. Antes yo fumaba. So it's a simple formula. When you want to say I used to, don't use the verb soler, to tend to. Use the verb soler if you want to say I tended to. But that's different, right? I don't say I tended to all the time, but I do say I used to, or it used to, he used to. We use that a lot in English. And the best translation that I found for that is this formula. You use antes, start with antes, and then use the verb in the imperfect. So antes yo fumaba, before I smoked, but it translates as I used to smoke. Antes yo fumaba. Antes ellos trabajaban juntos. They used to work together. So this is the formula. Just practice it. Use antes and then the verb in the imperfect. If you don't know what the imperfect is, you need to find that out and study that. It's used extremely often to express the past tense in Spanish. Number 7 might be a little controversial. I'm not sure if all the native speakers or even some of the non-native speakers will agree with my way of saying this, but we'll see how you feel about it when you see that. I look forward to hearing your input and your feedback on number 7. Okay, let's look at number 2 now. Invitar. It means to invite, and yet it really means to treat or to offer to pay for somebody. Invitar looks like invite. It's a cognate, but it's also a false cognate at times. Invitar, when you use invitar in Spanish, it means you're going to pay for the person's meal or drink or whatever you're offering. So if you say to somebody, te invito a almorzar, you might think you're saying, I'm inviting you to go for lunch, but you're really saying, let's go to lunch, it's my treat. So be careful about using the verb invitar unless you really want to treat somebody and pay for their lunch. That's what it means. Number 3, I hear this one all the time, usualmente, for usually. Please, scratch that off your list. Stop using usualmente for usually. There's a simple solution. There's a lot of options out there, but use por lo general. Por lo general is much more common for usually or in general or generally. There are a lot of other options, but use that one and that will sound the best. If you'd like to practice and learn more of these, book a class with me on italki. The information is under this video and underneath all of my videos, how you can book a class with me and take classes with me, private classes every week or however many times a week, and we'll really get into the nitty-gritty of Spanish and have a really good time talking about and improving your Spanish skills. Number 4 is when you want to talk about the temperature. I hear people say, es 35 grados. It sounds like you're saying it is 35 degrees. The problem is that we don't use the verb ser or say es for the temperature in Spanish like that. You use tener. Just put it on your list of all the ones that you have to use for tener. There are a lot of them, right? Well, this is one more. Tenemos 35 grados, right? That's what you would normally say. We have. Even when I'm just speaking about myself, I would still say, tenemos, we have here in general 35 degrees. Tenemos. And then if you want to ask the question, what's the temperature there? You could say, ¿Cuántos tienen? ¿Qué temperatura tienen? There are other ways to talk about it, but learn this habit. I know that it's so easy to talk about the weather and temperature in English. Everything is it's. But in Spanish, you have hace, está, hay, and now you have tienen. Tenemos 40 grados Fahrenheit. Tenemos 40 grados centígrados for Celsius, centígrados. Number 5 is a great one and a really good example of how you can learn all the conjugations and how to create proper sentences in Spanish but you need to know which one to use when, because they don't always use the same tenses that we use in English. And a good example, and I made this mistake for years, is using the present perfect. The have been or have lived, have worked. We use this a lot in English, when in Spanish they'll just use the present tense. So, for example, I used to say, I have lived here for 3 years. Yo he vivido aquí por 3 años. Technically, it's correct. I'm saying the exact same tense. The problem is, and finally, I was kind of slow. It took me a while to realize, wow, nobody else who speaks Spanish says it that way. They all say, they say it a few different ways. You can say, son 4 años que vivo aquí. Sounds like you're saying are 4 years that I live here. Or you can just say, llevo 4 años aquí. They use llevar, which means a lot of things, right? It could mean to wear, to carry. In this case, it's like I'm carrying 4 years with me. It's just an expression. And so you just need to learn that. But that's how you could say that. Llevo 4 años aquí. So somebody could ask you, ¿Cuánto tiempo llevas aquí? How long have you been here? And you can answer, llevo 5 años aquí. Llevo 3 días aquí. So you're just using llevo instead of I have lived, I have been. It's actually a lot easier to say, but you just have to remember to say it this way. Now, number 6, how would you say, she is just the right person to fix this problem? Just the right one. The word indicada or indicado, right? Ella es la persona indicada para arreglar este problema. Instead of saying, ella es la persona correcta, right? Correcta or correcto is the word right, correct. But when you want to say just the right one, just the right person or just the right thing, you say la indicada or el indicado. Another example is, es la mochila indicada para esta caminata. It's the right backpack for this hike. Now, number 7. So how would you say they gave me or he gave me the wrong book? So most of the time you're going to say el libro equivocado, right? But there's another way to say it. You could say, me dio el libro que no es. And this wouldn't be something that comes natural to you, right? It took me many years to find, I heard this so much, and it sounds like they're saying, he gave me the book that isn't. It's kind of weird, but that's how you would translate it, and this is a common way to say it too. So I look forward to hearing if you're a native speaker, and tell me what country you're from too. Do you say it that way? Have you ever heard something like this? Me dio el libro que no es, or tomamos el tren que no era. Right? Era, it's the imperfect of ser. So we took the train that wasn't. Right? So we took the wrong train. So they use this, que it's the negative and then the verb ser. Que no es or que no era. It could also be plural, I guess. Que no son, if you're talking about plural things. And so this could be translated as the wrong one, the wrong, as an adjective, instead of always using equivocado. Okay, number 8, you definitely have to start incorporating this into your Spanish. For the word especially, stop saying especialmente. I know it's easy. In this case, it's not a false cognate. It's a true cognate. It's just that English speakers overuse it because we do say, or maybe if you tend to say especially a lot in English, then you'll probably tend to say especialmente a lot in Spanish. Stop saying it. There's a simple solution. It's 2 words, sobre todo, sobre todo, above all. And you realize it has the same meaning as especially, right? Above all, sobre todo. Here's an example. Muchos estados en el este de los Estados Unidos tienen buenas playas, sobre todo Nueva Jersey. Please leave your comments. I hope you like this video. Please give it a like. Please book classes with me. You'll love my classes. We work on a lot of stuff like this and even more, and we do a lot more fun activities with the language. And I look forward to helping you develop your Spanish and improve it a lot more. And just remember, millions of people speak Spanish, and so will you.